We're here at the NAMM 2018 Harman booth, and I'm showing the new Ui24R firmware version 2. The Ui24 is a surfaceless mixer with 22 physical inputs and 14 outputs. And the new version of software is out right now and it's free. As you will see on the screen, this is the big D, the new display, which lets you basically create multiplexed displays, both of gain and mixer faders at the same time, dynamics, EQ and mixer faders, all your sends, and they all operate quite seamlessly between switching and channels. You can also double click on any channel or single click on the above metering, and that'll bring up the channel that you want to go to. We also added auto mixing. Auto mixing is the ability to bring in channels, up to 8 channels at the same time, select the weight of the main channel you want to have, and the gain structure of all the other remaining channels when they're spoken to will remain the same. This is based on the Studio Vistamix algorithm, and that was now available in the version 2 firmware. You got 2 groups of 8 channels each. On the subgroup side of things, we now have the ability to add ducting. So you can go to a subgroup, hit the edit page, and the compressor of the subgroup, you've got a pull down where you can select the previous subgroup. So subgroup 3, we have subgroup 2 and 1 that can actually duck. And the way to utilize that is you can have music on subgroup 3 and voice, for example, on subgroup 2. And when voice is spoken, subgroup 3 will duck the audio at the same time. And it's very useful for speaking over music, basically. Some of the other big additions to the system, we've added 4 more channels. You now have 24 processing channels in the Ui24, and they can be assigned from the DAW inputs or local inputs. That means you can double your channel processing for a vocal, for example, and use 1 channel processing for fallback EQ and 1 channel processing for your main inputs. We also have 10 auxiliary sends. We had 8 previously, we've got 10 auxiliary sends now. And these can be routed to any of the outputs, and they can be matrixed or standard auxiliary outputs. In the patching section, we've added the new patching matrix pages to the system now. In the patching matrix pages, you can patch any input to any channels. As you can see, we have 24 channels on the right-hand side where I can patch in any of the inputs directly to those channels as I wish, just by clicking on the screen. These can be undone with the multiple undos that we have. We can also patch hardware inputs. So physical hardware inputs and outputs are able to be patched. On the top line, we have the DSP outputs, and on the right-hand side, we have the actual physical outputs of the Ui24, where I can patch auxiliary 9 and 10, for example, to headphones. So now I have 2 mono outputs out of the 2 headphones, 1 from auxiliary 9 and 1 from auxiliary 10. If you made a mistake, you can always hit the reset button and reset the functionality. The effect sends are now all post and pre-processing. That's a new addition as well. We've added a lot more abilities to do things like view groups. This was a request from many users, so view groups are now being able to have global and local, and that means a view group can be set up and then allocated to lots of users at the same time. So you can download this right now. It's available on the Soundcraft website. This is the Ui24R version 2 firmware.